times for us to start doing this. So I just want you to take a second here and really picture yourself transforming over the next 4 weeks, because whatever it is that we manifest in our minds is exactly what we are going to manifest in our lives. So this challenge is going to give back to you everything that you put into it. Your results are going to be dependent upon your level of commitment and your level of participation. And the caveat to that is that I don't expect you to be perfect. We will talk about that also. It's all about balance. But I just want you to take a few seconds here, maybe close your eyes, get comfortable in your body, turn off the distractions, except for Christy who's driving. But just maybe envision out in front of you, Christy, then like this new, healthier, more energetic and slimmer and vibrant version of you, because it is completely possible. Like what you guys are able to experience in the next 4 weeks is amazing by some of the simple shifts that we're going to be making through your lifestyle, through the food that you're eating, and through your body. So I just really want you to get that good visual, because I want you to hang on to that. That's what you're going to be working towards over the next 4 weeks, is what that new version of you is going to look like. And that's what's going to keep you plugged in and motivated along the way. So without further ado, let's jump in. Tonight is all about helping you guys kick off the challenge. It officially starts on Thursday, so it's not starting today. It starts on Thursday, and it's going to run over the course of exactly 4 weeks. So these are the basic details that you guys need to know to participate. And it will end on April 21st. So you're actually going to participate all the way through the end of the day on April 21st. We're going to talk about points and how you track everything here in just a minute. And I just want to make sure that you guys are aware, and I will remind you as we get closer to that you will actually be tracking all of that stuff all the way through the end of the day on the 21st. So exactly 4 weeks. And the concept here, what we're aiming to do is we're going to be cleansing out the body by removing the most toxic and inflammatory foods from your diet. So working on minimizing gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, and alcohol. And then we're going to kind of supplement in or add in some of the strongest naturally cleansing foods. Specifically, what we're going to focus on is grapefruit, raw beets, and dandelion greens. And I'm going to help you guys set some parameters about what that means on a daily basis here in just a few minutes too. And what those foods are going to be doing is they're going to be helping to promote the body's natural cleansing ability, which we're also going to do through exercise, through sleep, and through drinking plenty of water and some easy at-home kind of DIY liver flushing and promoting remedies that I'm going to teach you guys along the way too. And the whole point of this is I want you guys to learn how to maintain and to continue cleansing on a regular basis. And not that you need to practice all of these things all the time, but I know like there's a couple people on the line, Beverly's on here, a few people that participated last time. I don't know if Leah's on here, that they were commenting that they, really tried and did a great job actually keeping in a lot of the concepts that we talk about through the challenge, even after the challenge, the last one that we did in October. And this is just kind of like a reset button for them. Like it's a way for them to get refocused and re-energized. So the whole point is that everything I'm going to teach you guys is actually simple and maintainable. Like we're not going to be shifting anything too large or too crazy, so that you can maintain some of the stuff that you're going to learn over the course of the next 4 weeks. And then you'll be able to revisit this on your own throughout the year, or hop in on any of my semi-annual seasonal cleanse challenges in the future to kind of refocus yourself too and do a specific cleansing period every year. So here's how we're going to cleanse. You guys are going to be tracking your cleansing activities daily to earn points. So here's a list of things that you earn points for on a daily basis. Again, it's not about being perfect. So you guys get to work within your means and do exactly what it is that you're capable of. But you get 1 point every day for being gluten-free. You get another point for dairy-free, soy-free, sugar-free, and alcohol-free. If you exercise for at least 30 minutes or more, you get another point. And I just want to clarify here that this needs to be intentional exercise, walking, from and to work maybe doesn't count, or potentially like parking farther away from the store and then walking up there and counting all those minutes, that doesn't count. I want you guys to get some specific focused exercise in. So maybe that's when you get home from work and you go for a nice walk with your partner or your dog, and you have a little pep in your step and walk a little bit faster than you normally would. It could be getting to the gym. You guys are also going to be getting from me weekly workout tips for stuff that you can do at home. And you guys are going to get some tools in your gift bag, your Kickstart goodie bag that's actually went in the mail yesterday. You should have it any day now. There's going to be some weight or exercise tools in there for you guys too that I'm going to show you during those weekly workout tips. But it just needs to be specific. It could be doing a class, it could be doing a YouTube workout video. I just want you guys to be really focused and intentional with your exercise for that 30 minutes. You're also going to get 1 point every day for being asleep by 10 p.m. That's lights out, totally asleep by 10 o'clock. And we're going to talk in future webinars about the importance of why you should be asleep by 10 p.m. and how it helps to promote the cleansing process and overall restoration of your body. You also get 1 point every day for drinking an adequate amount of water. So an adequate amount of water, especially during a cleansing period, is at least half of your body weight in ounces. So for example, I weigh 140 pounds. That means I need to drink at least 70 ounces of water every day. So one of the things that helps me do that is I carry around a clean canteen bottle that's 27 ounces. I know that I need to drink at least 2.5, and I aim for actually 3 of those every day during the cleanse. To get that pure water. You do get water in other foods and other things that you guys are drinking or eating, but I want you to get really fresh, good, like, again, focused, just like the weight, focused water intake. And make sure that your water is not from the tap. You want your water to be clean. There's no point in drinking dirty water. That defeats the purpose. So I want you guys drinking filtered water. Hopefully maybe you have some filters in your home, or you can buy bottled spring water. Even at Sprouts or Whole Foods, they actually have spring water by the gallon for actually pretty cheap, for like $1 or something like that. So then you're also going to get points for eating those naturally detoxifying and cleansing foods, like I mentioned on the previous slide. If you have raw beets, or they could be cooked beets, I just don't want them to be beets out of a can. So beets out of a can don't count, either raw beets or fresh beets that you're getting in your cooking. And you get 1 point for eating those, which is going to be about 1/2 of a beet, or at least 1/4 of a cup on a daily basis. So you guys have the link down here to the virtual cleanse bag, as well as you're going to get that in some of the emails as reminders to you guys. On this link is where you're going to find your downloads for recipes, for cleansing recipes to include these beets, grapefruit, and dandelion greens. So you guys want to make note of this link, or be on the lookout for that in your emails that you're getting, so that you guys can access that virtual cleanse bag and download those recipes. But you can have your beets in your smoothies, on a salad, on the side as a side dish, however you want to eat them. Some people just like to eat them as a snack. And then also we're going to be focusing on grapefruit. So at least 1/2 a grapefruit, or again, 1/4 of a cup of grapefruit roundabout, is going to be 1 point daily. So this is really great to add into your maybe breakfast, or now that the temperature outside is getting a little bit cooler, you can add grapefruits to salads. And I have some great even dessert recipes for you guys in those download recipe guides that you can find in the virtual goodie bag. And then also dandelion greens. So dandelion greens you can either do as actual greens that you can buy at the store. So you'll find them usually in the section next to your spinaches and your other lettuces and things like that. So you can do 1/2 a cup of either raw or cooked dandelion greens, or you can do 1 cup of dandelion detox tea. So in your guys's Kickstart goodie bag that got put in the mail yesterday, you guys should be getting it in the next couple days, and there's actually some samples of the dandelion detox tea. It's actually pretty good. You can add some cinnamon, add a little bit of stevia to sweeten it up if you want to. And in the virtual goodie bag link that I have posted here too, you can also find the link to purchase more of that. Or the dandelion tea you can also find at health food stores such as Sprouts or Whole Foods. And Reed says that he got his box today. So Reed's in San Diego. That means the rest of my San Diego people probably hopefully got your goodie bags as well with some of these tasty treats and tools that I'm talking about on here. So yeah, be on the lookout for those goodie bags. And then Jody said she got hers. Awesome. Christy got hers. Great, you guys. I'm so glad that you guys have that stuff. Amanda said she got hers. Perfect. Tina did too. Awesome. So if you haven't checked the mail, check the mail. If you didn't get it today, that's okay. You guys should have them by Thursday at the latest, I would imagine, depending on what part of the country you're in. So, and again, you want to check out this link, the cleanse-virtual-bag link, to find all other kinds of resources on there. But there's also links to like order up on some of the stuff that you guys are going to find in your bags and get discounts and cool things like that in there too. So let's define some of the things that we're talking about here in terms of the cleanse, because I get a lot of questions about these, like what exactly does it mean to be sugar and soy free? What's okay and what's not okay? So I like to define this so you guys know exactly where you're moving or going in the next couple of weeks. So the sugars that we're talking about avoiding are all going to be processed sugars. So things like table sugar, white sugar, processed or added sugars into any box bag or can items, and artificial sweeteners. So things like Sweet and Low and Equal and Splenda, all that crap is what you want to avoid. The okay sweeteners that you guys can have that you'll see in some of the healthier like foods ingredients are things like natural fruit sweeteners. Like if you guys are checking out health food products, you might see, for example, dates as a sweetener in there, and that's totally okay. Organic cane juice, which can be found in many health food items also. Stevia is a great sweetener alternative. You can find stevia in a liquid form or a powdered form, and also organic honey. And I say organic because we are going to be focusing on organic foods also, and organic honey would be the best options for you. In terms of soy, what you're looking at avoiding is going to be processed products. So things like soy milks and soy yogurts, soy proteins, and then a sneaky little guy called soy lecithin or soy lecithin. And this little guy, he will sneak into almost any health food product. So if you're eating things like, oh my gosh, what are those? The Kind bars, a lot of those apparently healthy protein bars or snack bars that are out there. You want to be checking the label for that sneaky soy, because that guy will get into so many different products. So be on the lookout for him. And then some of the okay soy things that you can have are going to be fermented soy. So things like organic tofu or tempeh. You can have edamame because it's the kind of like raw original formation of the soy. And then a lot of people ask me about soy sauce, and you just want to be double checking to make sure that your soy sauce is gluten-free. An alternative for soy sauce, just to be on the safe side, will be something like coconut aminos or bragg aminos, or tamari would be another good one too. So hopefully you guys are clear on that. If you have more questions along the way about these things as you're at the store or wherever you are, you always have the Facebook group, or you can shoot me an email if you have questions about what's okay and what's not. So let's take a look at gluten and dairy, just to be really clear on these ones also. Some people don't know exactly what gluten is. And gluten is anything that's in a wheat, barley, or rye product. So I've had some people ask me about oatmeal, for example. Well, oatmeal is an oat. It's not a wheat, barley, or rye. So technically, or typically, it should be gluten-free. But if you're buying oatmeal that has any type of flavoring or fillers in it, you just want to be double checking the label for that kind of stuff. If it's not labeled automatically as being gluten-free, then you guys can flip over, and where the ingredients are listed by law, they have to list the allergens. And if it says that it contains wheat, barley, or rye as an allergen, then that means that it's not gluten-free. And then in terms of healthy alternatives for gluten, you guys can do quinoa, rice, risotto, potatoes of all kinds, cauliflower rice, cauliflower mash, all kinds of good stuff. Morgan says she just bought some gluten-free oats at Sprouts today. Yeah, Morgan, high five. So A lot of people get confused that gluten-free means that you have to be carb-free or low carb, and that's not the case. Like if you guys need carbs in your diet, which we're going to talk about that later this week and into next week about figuring out your specific metabolic type and what nutrients you need, then these would be the okay kind of like starchier carbs to have, is that quinoa, rice, risotto, and potato of all kinds. And then the dairy that we're looking at avoiding, some people get a little confused. Eggs don't count as dairy, so you can eat as many eggs as you want to. And what we're specifically avoiding is anything that's a cow, sheep, and goat's milk product. So that would be mostly conserved to things like milk and yogurts. But you also want to be checking any types of boxed, bagged, or canned items. You guys wouldn't believe how many different crackers I've picked up off the shelf and read the ingredients, and for whatever reason they contain dairy in them. Again, if you guys aren't sure by reading the ingredients list, dairy is another one of those things that has to be listed under the allergens. So if you see that it says contains milk, then that means that's something that you guys want to stay away from. And okay alternatives for dairy would be, products made from almonds, so like almond milk, almond yogurt, coconut milk, and coconut yogurt. Coconut milk is my favorite, and I just found some really phenomenal coconut yogurt at Whole Foods a couple weeks ago. You can also do cashew, hemp, or any other kind of nut milk products. Those are all great alternatives. You guys will see a lot of that in the store, especially if you go to a Whole Foods. They have a lot of even dressings and different types of dips that are made with cashew cream instead. So it's just blended cashews, and those are actually really tasty, or even almonds like the bitchin sauces and stuff like that too. All right, so we talked about how you guys get points daily, and we clarified on what some of those things are. Now let's talk about bonus points, because like I mentioned earlier, it's not about being perfect. There's going to be things that might pop up over the course of the next, 4 weeks that you just really don't want to miss out on. I totally get that. I'll already raise my hand and admit that I have a going away party coming up this Saturday where I may have an alcoholic beverage or two. And I'm also going to Mexico next weekend. So I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm participating right alongside you guys. And I'm going to do the best that I can while I'm there and doing those things. But if you do fall off the wagon or miss some points a couple of days or throughout the day, then here's where you can basically rack up some points. And the idea here is that if you do tend to indulge in some of those things that we are trying to avoid right now, that you can offset some of the negative impacts of that kind of stuff by doing some of these bonus point activities. So some of the things that you guys have for bonus point activities are going to be things like a daily castor oil pack you can do on a regular basis, and in your goodie bags or your Kickstart bags that you guys all got, most of you got today, you have all the items that you basically need to do a castor oil pack for the most part. You have your castor oil in there, and you have your wool flannel. The only other things that you guys will need is a heating pack and some saran wrap. And there's a video on the virtual cleanse bag link where I give you kind of like visually give you instructions on how to make that. And Morgan even chimed in and said it is very effective. If you guys Google castor oil packs, you'll find all kinds of people blogging about how they've seen like great results with them and decreasing like circles under their eyes and giving them more energy. So it's a way to promote liver and immune function. Plus it's super relaxing. You get to do it at night and just kind of like lay there and hang out for a while. Morgan said that she even passed a stone after the first cleanses with the castor oil pack. So that really means that you're moving some shit out. That's great. There's also some liver flushing. So for those of you who participated last time in the fall, I've added a second option. There's two options available to you guys. Again, the instructions for these are all found on that virtual goodie bag link. There's a weekly option where you do this yummy mixture of olive oil and grapefruit juice and lemon juice once a week for 4 weeks. And it helps to really break down the bile and like all the toxins built up in your liver and your gallbladder and flush that stuff out. Or if you're like me and you just want to knock it out in a 1-2 punch, there is a 6-day liver flush that you can get or that you can do. You can download the instructions from there. And if you do that 6-day one, it's worth 20 points total. And both of these are working on promoting liver health and the detoxing process. The 6-day one does require 2 different supplements that you guys can purchase. The supplements are really inexpensive. It's $25 for the 2 of them combined. And they'll actually last you for 2 different liver flushes for the most part. So you guys can do a liver flush during this cleanse, and then you can hang on to them to do it again in the fall, or do it a second time on your own whenever you want to. And then, of course, the weekly webinars, you guys are getting points for being here today. So if you haven't downloaded your checklist yet from the virtual bag, then you want to make sure you do that and mark down your points for today. And then we're going to have the educational webinars every Thursday at 6:30, about 30 minutes, and the recordings will be available afterwards. So if you guys can't make the live webinar, that's totally okay. I'll post the recordings within 24 hours, and you can go to the link. You'll be getting emails with the links and reminders. I'll send you guys out all of that stuff to access the recording and get your takeaways for that week. And the whole idea of the webinars is I'm going to be teaching you guys the proper way to cleanse your body, how to maintain your results. It's also an opportunity for you guys to get guidance and ask questions as things come up over the next 4 weeks. And then also, a lot of you guys have already done this, but if you haven't, make sure that you complete those 2 questionnaire assessments. You get 5 points each for those. And those will be really helpful too as you guys are scheduling your bonus Ask the Expert session with me. It gives me some insights about your metabolic type and your diet, as well as what's going on with your body, so that I can give you more pointed direction and recommendations. And we're going to be doing these assessments at the beginning right now, so you really want to try and get them done by Thursday before we start, or maybe, by this weekend at the latest. And then take a before picture so that at the end, you can redo your assessments and see how things have changed for you. And you can take an after picture, because sometimes when we're in the thick of this cleansing, we don't actually notice all of the good things that are happening to us. And as human nature, we just tend to always gravitate towards the negative versus looking at all the things that have changed and the positive. So really the purpose of these assessments and these before and after pictures are for you guys to be able to visually see how things have changed for you. And I've had a couple of people ask me about the pictures, like what kind of picture are we looking for? And it could be a full body picture, front and side, if you want to. It can be just a picture of maybe your face if you want to, be able to see dark circles go away under your eyes, how your skin might be glowing at the end of the 4 weeks. I'll leave that up to you. But you do get points for that before and after picture. And these are all kept private. At the end of the cleanse, I will be sending out some waivers and information for you guys if you are willing to share any of your information for future promotion of cleanses and testimonials and things like that. But I will not be using that information without your guys' approval or those pictures. So know that they are just for safekeeping right now to help you track your progress. All right, so we've talked a lot about points so far, and points are going to equal prizes. It's part of the motivation for you guys to help you stay accountable, to help you keep going, to keep you motivated for the support. So everybody who earns at least 325 points is going to be entered into a raffle at the end. We're going to be giving away 2 prizes. One is 3 free health coaching sessions with me, and the other is 3 free personal training sessions with me. So for those of you guys who are all over the country, don't worry. You don't have to be in person to do this. I actually do most of my personal training and health coaching remotely by phone or virtual video sessions. So everybody's eligible to win these prizes. And if you are a current client of mine, you do qualify as well. And in addition to that, something else that I've added in for this seasonal cleanse challenge based upon some feedback, some great feedback that I got last time, was weekly points or weekly prizes. So every Friday, I'm going to, Trisha said that she lost me. Can anybody else hear me? Can somebody chime in and tell? Okay, thanks, Louie. Hopefully you can hop back on, Trisha. Maybe it's your connection. Thanks, you guys. So every week I'm going to be prompting you guys on Facebook, or you can send it via email to me to tell me what your points are at the end of each week. because this is one of the motivational factors too. Like you guys might find that maybe you have one really good week and then you have a really bad week and then you have another really good week. So I want to make sure that you guys kind of like acknowledge yourself for what it is that you're doing by posting your points. It helps to keep you motivated and accountable also. And that way, if you do have a bad week, it's okay. You can make up for it next week and you can still be eligible for prizes, which is awesome. And it'll give you some extra incentive to maybe rack up even more points that week after that you maybe had a poor week, so that you can get back in line and be eligible for some of the raffle prizes at the end. So I'm going to be giving away some awesome things like a Real Plans membership. If you guys don't know what Real Plans is, it's basically like an online meal planning service that is so amazing. There's a link for it in your virtual goodie bag if you guys want to check that out. And I think you can do a free trial on there anyways for 30 days. I'm also going to be giving away Dale's bars, a whole box of Dale's bars or two. So you guys have some of those tasty treats that are in your goodie bags to try out, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm racking up for you guys. So be on the lookout for when you need to post your points on a weekly basis, and you want to be keeping track all along the way to make sure that you can qualify for the end of the challenge raffles too. All right, you guys, I know we're getting here to like 30 minutes. We're going to start wrapping it up soon. We got a few more slides to get through. Just wanted to go through the pre-challenge to-dos for you guys. So like I just mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that you're checking the emails. If you're not getting emails from me, like you guys should have gotten a step 1, step 2, step 3 email about how to prepare for the challenge. I did have a couple people reach out to me and they didn't get the emails for some reason. So I was able to drop them back in, and they were able to get those emails, because these emails are going to contain the things that you need to do in there, which is the completing your questionnaires, the metabolic typing, and the stressors. Also, the link to join the Facebook group. I actually added a whole bunch of you today, either via email or added you from Facebook. So if you guys got that, make sure you go in and join the Facebook group. Or if you haven't seen that link or been added or anything like that, then let me know. Also, make sure that you schedule your bonus, the Ask the Expert session. You guys can schedule this at any point in time if you want to do it now to kick off the challenge if you have a lot of questions, or you can kind of hold it till the end if you want to wrap up questions at the end about how you can move forward and maintain, or you can also use it in the middle if you need a little extra accountability and support. So in the emails was the link to my calendar, but you can go to meetme.so/travelfit and just select the ideal health and weight appointment, or you can email me directly if you can't get there for some reason. Also want to make sure that you guys download your ideal health and weight checklist bonus. This was in the emails. This is basically a little checklist for a lot of the things that we're going to be practicing throughout the challenge that you can carry over, and also some added things that you want to take a look at in terms of your ideal health and weight as well. And then mark your calendars for every Thursday. This should actually say 6:30. I have a typo here. So 6:30 every Thursday for the weekly webinars. You want to make sure that you're scheduling in your workouts because you want to set yourself up for success. And then obviously you want to make sure that you hit the grocery store and stock up on some dandelion greens, grapefruits, raw beets, and gluten, dairy, sugar, soy-free type of goodies. And then what you want to be on the lookout for, kind of how it's going to roll through the challenge over the next couple of weeks, is these are going to be things that are going to help you keep on track and set you up for success. So I've mentioned quite a bit the virtual Kickstarter bag that has discounts, the instructions for the castor oil packs, the liver flushing. There's a ton of other resources on there for you guys, like access to a free 30-day trial to Thrive Market, where you can buy all kinds of health foods like gluten-free, dairy-free. You can actually search by gluten and dairy-free products on there, a free 30-day trial with them, and all orders over $49 ship for free. And they basically sell that stuff at wholesale prices, which is awesome. So there's stuff like that on that virtual goodie bag link. You guys want to go check that out. Every Monday, you're going to get an insider's tip email from me with the weekly webinar registration for that coming Thursday's webinar. On Wednesdays, you're going to get an email from me with a weekly workout tip and then the webinar registration reminder if you missed it from Monday. Thursday, obviously, we're going to have the live webinar at 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern time. And then on Fridays, I'm going to send you out an email with the webinar recording link and kind of like a weekly Q&A recap from questions that were on the webinar or maybe that were on the Facebook group, because I know people just pay attention and have their focus in different areas. Not everybody's on Facebook all the time like some of us. So also, you guys can post your questions up on the Facebook group, though. It would be great if you can post your questions there so that everybody can learn from them and the responses. Unless they're personal, then you can email me directly. And obviously, if you don't have Facebook for some reason, then you can certainly shoot me emails with your questions. And if it's something that I feel the group would benefit from, I'll always ask you and get approval if I can go ahead and post that on the Facebook group as well. All right, you guys, so we talked about the grocery list. You need to hit the store. Just to recap, here's the things that you need to get. Organic dandelion greens or tea. Those organic beets, you can do red or golden. And grapefruits, all of this stuff is actually in season right now. Organic lemons would be something great for you guys to add into. There's no points for those things, but you also want to stock up on things like organic greens, such as spinach, kale, Swiss chard, all kinds of herbs and spices are great. A lot of these are going to be listed in the cleanse recipes and my Travel Fits top 10 recipe guides that you guys have access to in the virtual bag as well. Organic fruits and veggies of your choice. You guys, this is where this cleanse is different. It's not about what you don't get to eat. It's all about all the amazing things that you do get to eat. So you can load up on any other fruits and veggies of your choice. And then I also wanted to mention here some supplements that might help through the process. Something like a good quality probiotic such as Garden of Life or Orthobiotic are some great options. So again, in the virtual bag, there's some links to purchase that kind of stuff on even Amazon and get it super cheap. They help with the digestive process and help you just flush out toxins and things like that as well. Also, glutamine might be something helpful for you, especially if you're somebody who's been eating maybe gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, or drinking alcohol on a semi-regular basis, because you may experience some withdrawals or some cravings, and glutamine can actually be really helpful for that, to fend off any of those cravings that you do have. And also the glutamine is great for workout recovery, brain health, and also healing any type of leaky gut that you may be experiencing that you don't know about. So again, you guys can check out all of this stuff, links to the supplements on that virtual goodie bag where all these other resources are for you too. The questionnaires, for those of you who haven't done them yet, let's just touch on them real quick, or even those of you who have, I want to kind of explain for you guys like what they're all about. So there was 2 questionnaires for you guys to fill out. One was the stressors questionnaires. So this gives you a baseline of kind of your current health. It shows what systems of the body are being affected by quote unquote stressors. So things in your environment, your mental, emotional aspects, your lifestyle, and it's going to give you a total score. So you can see what your baseline is starting now. And then as we work over the next 4 weeks, the idea is that you're going to improve in some of these areas, and then you'll be able to reassess yourself at the end and actually visually be able to see some of those improvements. And then the second one is metabolic typing. So this is all about defining your right diet for you, or the right makeup of nutrients just for you. This will be something that we're going to go over in more detail in a coming webinar about how you really go about refining this even more. But basically your metabolic type, once you have that dialed in, you guys should be able to go anywhere from 3 to 5 hours without being hungry. You shouldn't have cravings anymore, or any kind of withdrawals, because you're getting the right balance of nutrients for yourself. So I've kind of listed on here, you guys can take a look at your questionnaires now if you haven't had a chance to meet with me, or you can kind of get started on this before we talk about it in the webinar. And you want to take a look at your questionnaires, and if you answered mostly A's on that questionnaire, then that means that you're a protein type. So you want to aim for every meal to be consistent of about 45% protein, 35% carbs. And when I say carbs, we mostly want to focus on fruits and vegetables. And then 20% fats and oils, which could be like the cooking oil, fat from meats that you're eating and that kind of stuff. If you answered mostly B's, then you're going to be a carbohydrate type, where your focus is going to be actually on a larger portion of carbs, about 70%, a little less protein at 20%, and 10% fats and oils. And if you're just like not even sure, didn't even know how to answer those questions, or your responses fell somewhere in between, then I want you just to start as a mixed type, which means that you're going to be aiming for about 40% protein, 50% carbs, and 10% fats and oils. And again, you guys, we're going to dive into more detail about this in the coming webinars, and you guys will be able to talk in detail specifically about your needs and those Ask the Expert sessions that you guys are going to be booking with me. Okay. Let's talk about what to expect. I promise you guys just a few more slides here, but I want to give you a heads up on what you can expect over the next couple of weeks as you start to dive into some of this stuff. Obviously, as you're cleansing out some of these things, like some of the instant stuff that you might see, or even stuff later on, is more energy, weight loss, younger looking skin. You might even notice that you're more positive and have more clear thinking. You're going to start to sleep better and just feel better overall. But one of the things that I really want to highlight, an important note here, is that you might experience some mild withdrawal symptoms. Like I mentioned before, this is what the glutamine can be helpful for, especially if you've been semi-regularly eating sugar, gluten, dairy, soy, and alcohol. And even if you don't know, like maybe you're finding out now that some of that stuff has been sneaking into your foods that you weren't aware of. But typically when you cut this stuff out, these type of withdrawal symptoms will show up for the first 8 to 10 days. And they might include things like headaches, a little bit of fatigue, maybe irritability, maybe some brain fog, acne, restless sleep. It's really different for everybody. Like everyone cleanses differently. And these are actually good signs that your body is getting rid of toxins. So if there's something that concerns you, like a headache that lasts for a really long time, or you're really overly fatigued, please feel free to reach out to me so that I can help you navigate that kind of stuff and figure out what you should do. It might be just a matter of drinking some more water, making sure that you're getting some extra rest. But you should be in the clear after the first 8 to 10 days of kicking off the cleansing process on Thursday. And then also for any ladies on the line, if you guys are breastfeeding, pregnant, or trying to get pregnant, you can pretty much do everything that's in the cleanse, except for you cannot do the castor oil packs or the liver flushing specifically, but you can eat all the foods and everything that we've talked about and rack up your points in those kinds of ways. And as we wind down here, you guys, I just want to remind you that this whole process is a journey. This is a journey for you to discover your own ideal health and weight. I've mentioned a couple times before, this is not about being perfect. I don't expect you to be perfect, and you shouldn't expect yourself to be perfect either. You're going to get out of the cleanse what you put into it, though. So I want you to definitely put your, best foot forward and be as committed as you can. You will get guidance and accountability and support along the way. And there's going to be days when you fall off the wagon. And I just want you to get back up and keep going. Because remember, even on the days that you might have a little bit of gluten or a little bit of dairy or have a glass of wine, you have all of those bonus point opportunities to kind of balance it out and make up for the lost points, as well as the negative, reduce the negative impacts of whatever it is that you might have indulged in. So it's all a learning experience too. When that does happen, I want you to take a moment to notice what triggered you to make it happen. Maybe you were in an emotional situation, or you found yourself out running errands and you forgot to pack a snack with you, so you went to McDonald's. I don't know, whatever it might be. I just want you to, any time that you do fall off that wagon or maybe slip up a little bit, I want you to be mindful about it. And if you are going to make a choice to have something that we're trying to avoid in this time of cleansing, then you better damn well enjoy it. I want you to make a conscious choice to actually eat it and find pleasure and nourishment out of it, versus just, being like a zombie and mindlessly eating something like that. So I am a realist. I'm all about balance and making sure this that you find that through this cleanse. It's not about deprivation at all. And I've mentioned this a couple times as well. You know, don't hesitate to reach out for additional support on the Facebook group or to email me directly. I mean, that's what the Facebook group is for. If you guys find yourself at a restaurant struggling to make a good decision, or you need some tips or resources, you don't know what to make for dinner, please reach out to this community. Everybody is super supportive and in the same boat as you to help you get through that kind of stuff. Or you always have me as a lifeline also. All right, you guys. Looks like we're at the end here. So let's go ahead and open it up for any questions that you guys have. If you have questions, go ahead and type them down in the question box. Oops, I guess I don't have a question slide up there. So you can go ahead and type them in the question box and I can answer any questions that you guys have about getting started on Thursday. So Beverly had a question about how often do you take the probiotic and the glutamine? Good question, Beverly. The probiotic you should take daily. It's typically best to take your probiotics at nighttime before you go to bed. So that would be ideal for you. And then the glutamine is also recommended daily as well. And you can do anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 milligrams of glutamine twice a day, actually. So depending on how extreme maybe some of your withdrawals or cravings are, I would start at about 1,000 milligrams a day. See how that helps you, and then you can work up to 5,000 twice a day. You don't want to just jump into 5,000 because you don't know how your body's going to respond to that either. So it's always best to start small and then work your way up. And Morgan said, what about organic black beans and corn? Totally okay, Morgan. Those are kosher on this cleanse. Jody says, is there a gluten-free bread that's out there? Yeah, Jody, there's actually a lot of gluten-free breads that you can find at Whole Foods and Sprouts. I think even Trader Joe's might have some of them. They're all really different. There's some sprouted grains one. I know any of my gluten-free people that are on the line, I don't personally eat a ton of bread, so I don't have a favorite brand, but if anybody has a favorite brand, feel free to chime in and let us know what that is. But yes, Jody, the answer is that there is a ton of gluten-free bread options out there for sure. Lisa says Whole Foods Prairie Bread is one of her favorites. Thanks, Lisa, for chiming in. And Amanda says, what about coffee and caffeine? That's a really good question. Now, I didn't include coffee or caffeine in this cleanse because for the purpose of what we're doing, it's not one of these super essential components. But if that's something for you guys that you want to work on, because ultimately caffeine or coffee does contain toxins and contaminants and molds and all kinds of nasty stuff in there sometimes that we just don't even maybe want to know about. This would be a good time to maybe try to cleanse off of coffee, and you can swap that out with the tea, and you can even do the dandelion tea that I gave you guys samples of and suggested as an alternative for eating the dandelion greens. So you can always dwindle down your coffee or caffeine. If you experience some withdrawals from that, then the glutamine can be helpful for that too. And Tina says, is there a good non-dairy coffee creamer? Yeah, Tina, there's Solicious is one of my favorite brands. It's a coconut creamer. There's also some almond milk ones that you can find. I personally really I just get full fat coconut milk in the can, or they have them in a cardboard box. Like you can usually find it in the same aisle as all of the Thai food spices. And it has the thickness of real dairy, like cream. And you can keep it in the refrigerator, and it kind of like hardens and thickens up, and it makes it even more thicker in your coffee, depending on how thick you like your coffee cream. Trisha says, if we drink coffee, can we use agave to sweeten it? Yeah, Trisha, agave is actually okay. I didn't list that as one of the sugar alternatives. If you can do maybe a stevia, that might be better. Or you can even do I didn't mention coconut sugar either, but coconut sugar would be okay also. You just want to make sure if you're going to be doing agave that it's organic, so that it's not overly processed or has a lot of GMOs in it. So good question, you guys. Anybody else with any other questions? Nobody? I know we've gone over time for tonight. Sorry for it taking so long, but lots of good questions. All right, you guys. So be on the lookout for some emails coming from me. Thanks, Reed. Emails coming from me tomorrow and Thursday. Make sure that you go to, here's the link. This is actually perfect that we have it up here. If you haven't seen it in the email, you want to go to this link, download your checklist, which is what this little image is of here. You're going to print this checklist, and this is where you guys are going to keep track of your points every single day. So make sure you have that downloaded. At the end of the day, you can just go through and tally everything up. And I'm super excited to start with you guys on Thursday. All right, everybody, have a great evening, and I'll chat with you on Thursday for the first weekly webinar.